A Brief History, the U.S. Department of Labor, by Judson McLaury. The Organic Act establishing the Department of Labor was signed on March 4, 1913, by a reluctant President William Howard Taft, the defeated and departing incumbent, just hours before Woodrow Wilson took office. A federal Department of Labor was the direct product of a half-century campaign by organized labor for a voice in the cabinet, and an indirect product of the progressive movement. In the words of the Organic Act, the department's purpose is to foster, promote and develop the welfare of working people, to improve their working conditions, and to enhance their opportunities for profitable employment. Initially, the department consisted of the new U.S. Conciliation Service, USCS, which mediated labor disputes, plus 4 pre-existing bureaus: the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, the Bureau of Immigration, the Bureau of Naturalization, and the Children's Bureau. Woodrow Wilson's appointee as Secretary of Labor was Scottish-born Congressman William B. Wilson, 1913 to 1921, a founder and former Secretary-Treasurer of the United Mine Workers of America. In his first annual report, Secretary Wilson enunciated a philosophy, echoed by many secretaries since, that the department was created in the interest of the wage earners, but must be administered in fairness to labor, business, and the public at large. Under Wilson's early leadership, the bureaus functioned fairly autonomously, and the department focused most of its remaining resources on the USCS. He also set up a national employment service within the Bureau of Immigration. With the entry of the U.S. into World War I on April 5, 1917, adequate war production became a national necessity, and issues of working conditions and labor peace assumed paramount importance. The department assumed the major responsibility for implementing the nation's war labor policies, which included recognition of the right of workers to bargain collectively, establishment of machinery to adjust grievances, and an 8-hour workday. The War Labor Administration, headed by Wilson, was placed in charge of most of the government's labor programs. Its principal component was the War Labor Board, which adjudicated labor disputes not resolved by the USCS. When the war ended, an upsurge in labor management conflict resulted in an alarming strike wave that threatened to paralyze the rebounding post-war economy. At the same time, a nationwide Red Scare led to a series of government raids resulting in the arrests of thousands of dangerous aliens. The Justice Department demanded that the Bureau of Immigration deport them all, but the department insisted on observing strict legal standards, and it dismissed most of the charges. Only 556 proven communists were deported. After the activism of President Wilson, there was a sharp reversal in policy by the Republican administrations from 1921 to 1933, and the department reflected their desire for less government. President Warren Harding appointed James J. Davis, 1921 to 1930, who had attained national prominence as a charitable fundraiser. Although Davis was a union member, the department now followed a neutral course toward organized labor and focused on other areas. Administration of a series of new, restrictive immigration laws and deportation of undesirable aliens became its main function. The department also expanded the activities of the Children's Bureau and led the unsuccessful fight for a constitutional amendment limiting child labor. The Employment Service directed seasonal farm workers to areas of labor shortage, establishing a departmental tradition of aid to migrant farm workers. The Women's Bureau, a wartime agency which had been made a permanent bureau in 1920, promoted the welfare of working women, primarily through information dissemination. The department took few positive steps to cope with the Depression under Davis's successor, William N. Doak, 1930 to 1933, an official with the Brotherhood of Railway Trainmen. One of the principal departmental programs for fighting the Depression was the Davis-Bacon Act of 1931, which fought wage slashing on federal construction projects, by requiring that contractors match local rates. In 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt appointed Frances Perkins, 1933 to 1945, the first woman ever to serve in the cabinet. While FDR was governor of New York, Perkins had served as Commissioner of Labor and had developed plans to alleviate unemployment as the Depression deepened. She survived a politically motivated impeachment attempt over her refusal to deport communist labor leader Harry Bridges, and served until shortly after FDR died in April 1945. Taking office in the depths of the Depression, Perkins believed that government had a major role to play in achieving a recovery, and she had the president's ear. However, her first crisis involved the Bureau of Immigration and Naturalization, whose efforts to deport aliens had become extreme. She disbanded a special corps devoted to deportation and seized the Bureau's harassment of this group. This sometimes troublesome bureau was transferred to the Department of Justice in 1940. Perkins next helped set up the Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, which sent young, unemployed men from the cities to work on conservation projects in rural areas at $1 a day. She played a major role in the design of many of the other economic assistance and social programs of the New Deal, but her main contribution was in the enactment of Social Security. She led a campaign to convince the nation that a pension system would be humanitarian and would help prevent future depressions. The Social Security Act passed in 1935. A number of New Deal programs directly involved the Department of Labor. The Wagner-Pisa Act of 1933 revitalized the existing U.S. Employment Service, USES, and established a nationwide system of employment offices. The USES also provided placement and recruitment for the unemployed and later helped administer unemployment insurance, UI, under the Social Security Act. The Walsh-Healey Public Contracts Act of 1936 required that firms manufacturing goods for the government establish an 8-hour day and assure that the work would be done under safe and healthful conditions. It also authorized the Secretary to set minimum wages based on locally prevailing rates. This act prepared the way for a much broader labor standards bill, which Perkins had long supported, setting minimum wages and maximum work hours for most industrial workers. Both the American Federation of Labor and the National Association of Manufacturers opposed it, but after a prolonged legislative battle, the Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, became law in 1938. Administered by the Department of Labor, the act set a minimum wage of 25 cents per hour and a maximum work week of 40 hours, to be phased in by 1940 for most workers in manufacturing. The 40-hour week has not changed since 1938, but the wage level has been raised numerous times and the coverage has broadened to include most salaried workers. One of Perkins' favorite activities was helping state governments. In July 1933, she began a series of conferences on state labor legislation that continued annually for more than 20 years. She also created the Bureau of Labor Standards in 1934 as a service agency and informational clearinghouse for state governments and other agencies to improve conditions of work. The department played only a limited role in the World War II war production effort, focusing on maintaining labor standards. The Bureau of Labor Statistics served as the research arm for the Office of Price Administration, the War Labor Board, and the Armed Forces. The USCS worked with the War Labor Board. When Harry S. Truman succeeded FDR in April 1945, Perkins resigned voluntarily. Truman then appointed Louis B. Schwellenbach, 1945 to 1948, a federal judge and former U.S. Senator, to carry the Fair Deal program forward at the Department of Labor. Noble goals for workers quickly founded on high inflation, and as was the case after World War I, a massive wave of strikes. Reaction to the strikes led to the anti-union Taft-Hartley Act of 1947, despite strong opposition by Schwellenbach. As a result, the USCS was reconstituted outside the department as the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service, FMCS. Congress also ordered severe budget cuts in the department, which many saw as a hotbed of unionism. The hardest hit agency was the BLS, which suffered a draconian 40% reduction in its staff. A reshuffling of agencies in and out of the department added to the disruptions. Responding to Cold War needs, the department established an Office of International Labor Affairs. When Schwellenbach died in office in June 1948, he was succeeded by Maurice J. Tobin, 1948 to 1953, popular governor of the state of Massachusetts. With Tobin's help, Truman won re-election, and the department saw a rebirth, in which the cuts of 1947 and 1948 were largely restored. Tobin transferred several dispersed labor functions into the department, including the uses, which had been removed in 1939, and the UI system. Congress also gave the Secretary direct authority over the traditionally independent bureau heads. During the Korean War, the strengthened department played a major role in mobilizing for defense production. In the process, it began to deal with the need to raise the educational levels of workers and make better use of the capacities of women, older workers, and minorities. In 1953, President Eisenhower appointed Martin P. Durkin, a Democrat, and president of the Plumbers and Steamfitters Union. The unions took Durkin's appointment as a sign that the new administration was open to change in the hated Taft-Hartley Act. Durkin drew up amendments to the act, but when Eisenhower refused to support them, Durkin resigned in protest in September 1953. The main legacy of his brief tenure was in the improvement of the department's administrative efficiency. He clarified and strengthened the role of the secretary, assigned each bureau to one assistant secretary to promote better cooperation, and established the principle that the secretary normally takes the lead in government labor policymaking. Eisenhower replaced Durkin with James P. Mitchell, 1953 to 1961, vice president in charge of labor relations and operations at a New York department store. Mitchell served during a period of high prosperity and low unemployment. He continued Durkin's quest for organizational improvement, establishing himself as the administration's representative for all federal agencies concerned with labor and reducing the overlapping of functions. Internally, he concentrated on coordinating the work of the bureaus, and, to promote greater continuity of policy, he appointed civil servants as deputies to top political staff. The FLSA was amended in 1955 to broaden coverage and raise the minimum wage from 75 cents to $1 per hour. In 1958, Congress authorized the department to enforce safety and health standards to protect workers in longshoring and harbor work. The problem of assuring an adequate supply of trained workers became a major concern. A departmental policy group developed projections on skills which would be needed 20 years later. The department also examined the employment problems of women, minorities, and the handicapped. Mitchell headed a commission that investigated and publicized the problems of migrant farm workers. The department also provided better protections from unscrupulous employers under its Bracero program, which imported seasonal Mexican farm workers. New laws on misconduct by unions and employers led to new responsibilities for the department. Under the Welfare and Pension Plans Disclosure Act, it collected and made available information on companies' pension and benefits plans. The Landrum-Griffin Act of 1959 required filing of reports on union funds with the Department of Labor, banned communists from holding union office, and toughened restrictions on secondary boycotts by unions. In 1961, President Kennedy brought into government an able throng anxious to implement his new frontier. His first appointee as Secretary of Labor was Arthur J. Goldberg, 1961 to 1962, Special Counsel to the American Federation of Labor Congress of Industrial Organizations. Known as the Davy Crockett of the New Frontier, Goldberg became involved in a wide range of social and cultural issues. He regularly acted to settle or prevent strikes, particularly in the aerospace and transportation industries. He even settled a strike against the New York Metropolitan Opera. Strongly conscious of the rights of blacks and other minorities, he abolished segregation in the department. The department developed a major role in dealing with the emerging problems of automation and unemployment. Under the Area Redevelopment Act of 1961, it provided training and assistance in regions of serious unemployment. In 1962, the broader Manpower Development and Training Act gave the department responsibility for identifying labor shortages, training the unemployed, and sponsoring manpower research. Amendments to the FLSA in 1961 raised the minimum wage to $1.25 an hour and further broadened the scope of the law. When Goldberg left the department to become a Supreme Court justice, he was succeeded by Undersecretary W. Willard Wirtz, 1962 to 1969, a former labor lawyer and law professor active in Democratic politics. Wirtz generally left labor disputes to the FMCS and focused on training and equal opportunity programs. The department soon developed a wide range of programs to meet the social and economic goals of the President Lyndon Johnson's Great Society and War on Poverty, and it established the Manpower Administration to coordinate these programs. One of the most important was the Neighborhood Youth Corps, which helped 1.5 million poor, unemployed youth work and earn income while completing high school. It was administered by local sponsors and provided public service jobs. Other programs included Special Impact for People in Very Poor Neighborhoods, New Careers, providing training in health, education, and public safety, and the Work Incentive Program, to move able-bodied persons off welfare and into jobs. Through the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Independent Equal Employment Opportunity Commission was established to enforce non-discrimination in the nation's workplaces. The next year, Executive Order 11246 created the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, OFCCP, in the Department of Labor to eliminate discrimination by government contractors. In the hope of opening more jobs for American farm workers, the Bracero program was terminated. Efforts by the department to secure passage of a job safety and health law were unsuccessful, but they laid the foundations for future legislative action. During the Nixon and Ford administrations, a succession of 5 secretaries carried out policies of restructuring parts of the Great Society and decentralizing federal labor programs. George P. Shultz, 1969 to 1970, an academic economist with special expertise in labor issues, was President Nixon's first appointee. Shultz set the general course, which the department followed until January 1977, and also helped formulate the administration's economic policies. He went to other posts in the administration and was succeeded by his undersecretary, James D. Hodgson, 1970 to 1973, former vice president for industrial relations with Lockheed Aircraft Corporation. Hodgson departed involuntarily after Nixon's re-election and was succeeded by Peter J. Brennan, 1973 to 1975, a unionist from the New York City building trades, who had supported Nixon's Vietnam War policies. Brennan was replaced by President Ford with John T. Dunlop, 1975 to 1976, an academic labor economist and longtime government advisor. He served less than a year, resigning when President Ford vetoed a labor bill whose passage Dunlop had supported. Ford's second appointee was Willie J. Usery, 1976 to 1977, another unionist then serving as director of the FMCS. The department's main goal now became to strengthen and rationalize the massive employment and training effort. In 1969, the Manpower Administration was restructured, and the Comprehensive Employment and Training Act, CETA, of 1973 established a targeted form of revenue sharing to transfer funds and decision-making for training activities closer to local officials. The Emergency Employment Act of 1971 provided 170,000 temporary public service jobs. In 1969, the Job Corps, which provided training for needy youths, was shifted from the Office of Economic Opportunity to the department. In 1970, the movement for a job safety and health law was successful, and the next year the department established the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, to enforce rules or oversee state-run programs to protect against hazards in most of the nation's workplaces. Controversy soon dogged OSHA, as inspectors were criticized for being nitpickers. The costs of compliance with rules provoked opposition from manufacturers, and attempts to accommodate them caused consternation among the unions. Promotion of equal job opportunity became an ever more important activity of the department. In the largely white construction industry, the department promoted voluntary, minority hiring agreements between unions and contractors. Later, these Philadelphia plans set numerical minority hiring goals for contractors in a number of cities. The OFCCP coordinated these and other equal opportunity efforts and helped to improve their management. The Employee Retirement Income Security Act, ERISA, of 1974 gave the department a major role in protecting and improving the nation's private retirement systems. The Congress raised the minimum wage in stages to $2.30 an hour by January 1976, and coverage was initially extended to 1.5 million domestic workers. UI coverage was expanded to cover an additional 5 million persons, and extended benefits were authorized during periods of high unemployment. The department continued to avoid involvement in most labor management disputes. However, in 1970 it successfully mediated an illegal strike by postal workers after federal troops were called up. It also focused on labor management relations in the turbulent construction industry. In 1971, a Construction Industry Stabilization Committee within the department began to oversee construction contract settlements, resulting in a moderating trend in annual wage increases. In January 1977, Jimmy Carter succeeded Gerald Ford. His primary domestic goal was to stimulate the economy and create jobs for the unemployed. He selected Ray Marshall, 1977 to 1981, a labor economist at the University of Texas, specializing in unemployment and minority group issues. Marshall helped develop an economic stimulus program that included 725,000 public service under CETA and an expanded Job Corps. CETA was reauthorized in 1978 with sharper targeting of assistance to the most disadvantaged persons and a new private sector initiatives program to help private firms provide job training for the needy. The Youth Employment and Demonstration Projects Act of 1977 set up programs to assist young people. The Targeted Jobs Tax Credit gave employers tax credits for hiring disadvantaged people. The Humphrey-Hawkins Act of 1978 called on the federal government to simultaneously reduce unemployment and eliminate inflation. OSHA was under intense attack by 1977, and Marshall quickly instituted a Common Sense Priorities program to focus on serious dangers, simplify safety and health regulations, and help small businesses reduce occupational hazards. Enforcement became much stricter, safety standards were simplified, and tough health standards were issued for benzene, cotton dust, lead, and other hazards. In addition, OSHA issued an innovative generic cancer policy, which regulated a whole class of cancer-causing substances at once. In 1978, OSHA was joined by a sister agency, the Mine Safety and Health Administration, consisting largely of functions transferred from the Interior Department. Amendments to the FLSA raised the minimum wage from $2.30 to $3.35 an hour by January 1, 1981, and farm workers were covered for the first time. To strengthen enforcement of equal employment programs, federal contract compliance functions were centralized under OFCCP. After the U.S. withdrew from the International Labour Organization for foreign policy reasons in 1977, the department helped lay the groundwork for return to the organization in 1980. To strengthen the department's capacity to analyze complex issues, its economic research functions were consolidated under the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Policy Evaluation and Review. In January 1981, Ronald Reagan took office as president with a domestic agenda for economic recovery that emphasized reduced government spending and relief for business from burdensome government rules. To carry out these programs at the department, Reagan appointed Raymond J. Donovan, 1981 to 1985. Donovan was vice president of a construction company in his home state of New Jersey and had been active in Reagan's presidential campaign. One of Donovan's primary goals was regulatory relief, and OSHA was the lead agency in this effort. It immediately froze rules proposed during the Carter administration and sought to weaken existing standards to make them less costly for business. However, because of the complexity of rulemaking procedures, existing rules proved difficult to change. OSHA adopted a less punitive approach to enforcement and encouraged voluntary compliance. MSHA, OFCCP, and the other regulatory agencies followed similar deregulatory policies. Discretionary spending was slashed by 60% and departmental employment fell by 21%. CETA programs were cut from $8 billion per year to $3.7 billion, largely through elimination of public service employment jobs. Replacing CETA in 1983 was the Job Training and Partnership Act, JTPA, which shifted significant decision-making and oversight from the federal level to the states while continuing to allow local officials to shape their own programs, subject to approval by special private industry councils. Donovan was replaced by William E. Brock, 1985 to 1987, the U.S. Trade Representative and a former senator. Brock's initial goal was to improve the department's efficiency, and he instituted a secretary's management system to track and assure timely meeting of the department's goals. The department began to focus on both long and short-term employment and training policies. It initiated a Workforce in the Year 2000 project to help make plans to meet future skilled labor needs. It also cooperated with the broadcast industry in Project Literacy US. OSHA and MSHA shifted emphasis from reducing compliance costs for business to providing more effective protection for workers. MSHA undertook an accident reduction program in small coal mines. To accelerate the process of setting protective standards, OSHA explored mediated rulemaking, under which the interested parties would seek a consensus on the best regulation. Generic standard setting, suspended by Secretary Donovan, was resurrected. A task force under ERISA developed proposals to assure that pension plans would have enough funds to pay promised retirement benefits. The department helped develop proposals to reform government welfare programs at the state and community levels, and to help working mothers and displaced homeworkers in the workforce. After Brock departed to join Senator Robert Dole's presidential campaign, Reagan selected Andor McLaughlin, 1987 to 1989, who had served as Assistant Secretary of the Treasury and Undersecretary of the Interior. During her brief tenure, McLaughlin sought to reconcile demands of work and family life largely through non-governmental means, establishing a commission on workforce quality and labor market efficiency. The department helped shape an amendment to ERISA, which required employers to eliminate underfunding of pension plans, and it set up a program to help displaced workers. Newly elected President George Bush appointed Elizabeth Hanford Dole, 1989 to 1990. Dole had held several high government positions and was the wife of Senate Republican leader Robert Dole. While Dole resigned in 1990, she set the main policies which guided the department until the end of the Bush administration. She was succeeded by Lynn Morley Martin, 1991 to 1993. Martin was a former school teacher who had gone into electoral politics, serving 10 years in the U.S. House of Representatives. The department followed a more activist approach to workforce issues than it had during the Reagan administration. OFCCP undertook a glass ceiling initiative to reduce barriers to advancement by women and minorities within corporations. OSHA and MSHA issued final standards on air quality and other hazards and assessed record penalties for violations of safety and health regulations. Dole helped broker a settlement of the protracted Pittston coal mine strike in Southwest Virginia. A Secretary's Commission on Achieving Necessary Skills was appointed, which prepared national competency guidelines to improve the education and skills of American workers, and JTPA amendments were enacted to target training resources toward the neediest. The first raise in the minimum wage in over a decade was enacted, accompanied by a special sub-minimum youth training wage, long opposed by Democrats. In January 1993, Robert B. Ryer was appointed by President Bill Clinton, who was elected on a platform of putting people first and reinvigorating the economy. A teacher of government at Harvard, an author, and a radio and television commentator, Rye had previously served in the Justice Department and the Federal Trade Commission. Under his leadership, the Labor Department focused on building up the skills of American workers. The School to Work Opportunities Act, enacted in 1994, was designed to ease the transition from secondary education to employment for the 75% who do not graduate from college. Goals 2000 established a national system of skill standards to certify that workers had the skills that employers needed. States were given funds to establish one-stop career centers, linking unemployment insurance, job counseling, and access to job training. As chairman of the Pension Benefits Guaranty Corporation, Rye oversaw the enactment of the Retirement Protection Act, aimed at assuring that millions of workers in underfunded pension plans would receive adequate retirement benefits. He emphasized protection of workers by waging active campaigns against sweatshop, unsafe work sites, and fraudulent purveyors of health insurance. The department collected tens of millions of dollars in back pay for victims of job discrimination. The department administered the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993, which provided workers with up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave to care for a new child or ill family member. While these efforts went forward, the department's operations were streamlined and its staff was reduced by more than 1,000 employees. From its reluctant birth in 1913 as primarily an immigration agency with limited data collection, labor relations, and social welfare duties, the department has evolved into one of the principal regulatory and human resources development departments of the federal government. Mr. McClory's article was originally published in a historical guide to the U.S. government, Oxford University Press, 1998. It has been slightly revised and appears here with the publisher's permission. Scroll to top. Agencies.
Give thanks. Give thanks. We give thanks for that information shared. Again, if we don't have knowledge or thing, then there's nothing we can do about it. When people cry out for rights, we ask, what is that? The moment you have freedom, then you don't necessarily talk about rights. You know what I mean? You just secure your freedom. You protect that. And we say, boy, we are being enslaved, you just say, economically or commercially by way of a emergency banking act. Now we are share some information on the Department of Labor, which is a institution or an act created in 1913 before the creation of the Federal Reserve System, or before the Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917. And here we can see how efforts were made to secure and protect the labor of the common folk, irrespective of the political bureaucracy that was the guise. However, self-evidence can, manifest itself showing, say, boy, everybody get caught up in what is known as a, commercial entrapment, only for lack of information, only for lack of clarity. And this is why we just say, watch here, step by step. What's the rush? There's nothing to prove out here. There's nothing new under the sun. It's all about our perspective. It's all about our point of view. And the moment we kind of pull up our handbrake and, reevaluate, it's a introspection, Try find the logic behind the reasoning what we are bring forward. Because when we say everything is prepaid, it sounds away. When we say it's all about negotiations, it sounds away. Now, it's the moment you live lawful and upful and upright and, correct, then, the man-made laws now go really apply to you. Because, the golden rule is do no harm, do no wrong. Simple that, in an hour, either say meditation or comprehension. The moment we now bring no hurt or harm to no one, now no destruction to no one's property, now we are try play like we're smarter than everybody else for, swindle them out of them things, what them call scamming. As long as we are not doing those kind of things, then all of the other man-made policies cannot apply to a man such as I, free man. Irrespective of what is being said out there, when they must say, hey, you're a slave, hey, your birth certificate this and your birth certificate that, I'm gonna demonstrate, say, it don't have nothing to do with us. Because before we manifest here, this thing was in process. And even when we lift from this plane, if one's not careful, the very same thing are going to be in process. Very same thing. Yeah, man. So, a man such as I, what we call, the plain man. Yeah, man. The simple man, we are come from that, common stock there. What our politician and we so-called elite families would call peasants. And that's where we are stand up from. Not all of us have the opportunity. Now, most of we not get it, But all of we get the opportunity for go on with ourselves in the schools. Man like me not go on in a school. Man like me, when I go primary school, I 2 times I take exam and fail it. So me know me and a bright boy. I know my head tough. That is no secret. Yeah, man. So anything what me I do, me have to really apply myself. For at least try gain some kind of clarity. And I've never stepped forward out here act like I'm some all of these and that. I say, nah, man, we're free. And when you are tell me, say, no, I am not, I say, well, come demonstrate it in any kind of tribunal or court setting where you choose your choice, or even your arbitrator privately. Because I man can demonstrate with the basic knowledge what I keep. So watch here. Yes, there's a foreign system that came in our location. Yes, it has glossed itself across the earth, basically. Yes, it seems to be the Almighty, but it's only in, that presumption. It's only if you give that thing any kind of power or authority. And we not do that. We not allow ourselves to be governed by a man-made fiction. Of them kind of energy. Yeah. We say divination, you are now discharged. Your credentials are now cancelled. Your legal access is now null and void. By this power, truly. Yeah, man. Salute. I'm very Indian. Salute. Honor. Honor. Honor with respect. Honor. Greetings, Elder. With in addition to the commercial entrapment, would the literacy also be at fault? Watch me. I don't blame my people and for absolutely nothing at all. Because remember, we are talking about we as a people exist free and harmoniously. We have with differences tribally, but outside of the foreign intervention, we did all right. Most people can't grasp that time because of the indoctrination of this foreign slavery. And they never discuss the fact where the foreign Spanish that came here first, looking like us, because these are the same, people were mixed with the Arab line. Yeah, man, the Ishmaelite type, the Mohammedans. What them say, boy, Muhammad, that them Messiah or prophet. What them evolved down to Islam. What them even branch down further and say them are Moors, which is affiliated with the Maroons. Them kind of issue we have too much different mixing. And the only we can know the ones them is by the ancestral spirit we are animate through ones and ones. When we hear them speak, we can look and say, okay, that one speak from a place of ignorance. Yeah, because you hear them speak and it's eloquent, it's articulate, but it's, a direct you to a different location will have absolutely nothing to do with you. So because of ignorance, them ones that we can create a huge audience. Yet the ultimate goal is, to be free from the foreign construct. And all we do is demonstrate, say, yes, there is a foreign construct. This is when it starts. This is how it creates. This is when them put them thing in place. People, we don't mind come out and give our little, 2 cents. Yeah. But you have a thing called the Libra Code with Abraham Lincoln, where must say a victorious army appropriates all public money seize all public movable property until further direction by its government, and sequester for its own benefit or that of its government all revenue of real property belonging to the hostile government or nation. So so them a talk about anywhere where them go. Because we're not talking about man per se as an individual, we are talking about the system. We're governed by the elites. You know what I mean? Because these elites, see them or can even, touch them. But them are minions, what you call pawns, not porn. Not porn, now selling around here. Free will thing that. Pawns, like when you move chess, some little basic pieces where you can sacrifice easily. So them have a lot of minions. However, because of first-hand knowledge, I know so within that system we have our people there, like especially or specifically on this island. We have I people, I work for that corporate construct. It I work on behalf of that people. It's our people. And why I can't say that? Because our Congo Bongo people. I'm going in front of the people where ones and ones say a judge and ones and ones as a resident, you know what I mean? Where them deserve them honor. Why? Because them apply themselves, them go in high school and them, work hard and, separate themselves from other students and them gain them degree and all of these things. We have to always commend those things. Can't take these things away from our people. Now, when our people are in a position where they have to do a job, we know you have good and bad. We know some people that they will start with nothing, so they will clutch at anything and sell them soul. And you have others who start with nothing, but their moral integrity is such where they must say them satisfied with them beautiful Honda Civic car. Them not have to drive no Range Rover. So them not necessarily choose to sell them soul, but them still hold them position and maintain them work. Now, them kind of people are the people I appeal to. Those are the kind of people that will secure our existence. These are the kind of public officers and officials who know is in place. The good ones, kind of everything bad out there. It's just that when the bad people time come for rain, them are going to rain. But the good are for us, hold firm to the truth. That's all it is, So when you hear in the Labor Code, the man for the title of such real property remains in abeyance during military occupation. What does that mean? Especially for we here on the island. You know what military occupation mean? It means you're prisoners of war, my people, here on this island. We are construed on paper as prisoners of war. How do we prove that, Nestorian King? Oh, you chat so much, brethren. Easily, I people. Who is the head of state for this island per se? Corporately, who is it? We don't have a president, do we? We have a governor general. And when you hear them general, the way you hear it in a military designation, these things, my people. This is why them keep we in an admiralty setting. Well, I don't want to go on too much, Jano. Oh, boy, more time I get in. I would them online guru, yeah, and geek, yeah. Oh, gosh. I probably have to go put on one of these pornography, if YouTube allow me, for the people that will entertain themselves that way. So that way no man no feel like say, hey, me have a problem with what you want to do out there. Because what me want to do and choose to do, which boy out there can chat to me, or which girl. So we probably have to go entertain that segment there, if YouTube allow it. But right now, we're not there, so we're there. right now we have said, boy, people have to choose to protect their sweat equity. People have to choose to protect their labor. Yeah, man. And we have to truly grasp the concept when we have said, watch out. There is no money per se. It's only negotiable instrument. You get me? And when we say instrument, we mean paper. It's only negotiable or negotiations with paper. That's all it is. That's what we are saying now. Until somebody else come on a show, we say, no, king, where you say and I saw it go. Where you read and I saw it go. Because I keep saying, I view the people and because the constitutional, you'd say, public trust is actually that binding contract between we the people and our public officials, what we would call public servants. When we get mad, we make them know, are you not my public servant? Make them tell me no. They won't. We're not going to deal with people that way. This is why I say me have to always protect my people. You're not going to get me quickly come soon a judge or mash up the police or destroy them career. Yeah, me shine light on them and shine light on information. But I won't encourage it, not for my people. When I know there's a next kind of foreign people existing amongst us, totally dominating my people within my land. And when I say my land, I talk about this side of the hemisphere. I talk about the American continent or insular islands. That's what I talk about. And I extend myself to Britain because I have too much people on the British Isles over there. And I still can't ignore the European side of we. Because when I speak for America, but we push out ourselves same way. And we still salute the Bantu people in Africa. I don't know about the mix-up Arab and Arabian type and then Dubai spoil type. That we don't know about those. If them have Bantu in them area there, yeah, we salute those ones because we know said you are the ones that are under the gun. Not necessarily a black and white thing. Black and white is a status for the foreign man. Once the foreign man come in our land, them are going to classify themselves as white because them are non-original. This is why the Maroons are classified that way. Back in the 1700s, before the British deport those set from this location, but a remnant remain here. We indoctrinate our people. And unlike me is against the Maroons per se. No. I'm against the narrative. Really? Yeah, man. I'm see where the Maroons are correct them thing. When them say them indigenous, but them have to know, say, watch ya. The Maroons were come here with Columbus, the man them push them way now. So we are truly the original people, what them call Ahuuahkhuu. However, our organization say Maroons, just like the Rastaman organization, we say whatever it is, Baba Shanti, 12 tribe or whatever. But at the core is us. That's why I'm always partial to the biblical Israelite. Because I look for religion out there and know say it start with Judah. And Christianity is just a picture of Judaism. I'm not talk about the mix-up side of it. I'm not talk about the usurpation by the Khazars. Yeah, man. Excuse me, John, forgive me. Forgive me, I'm very Indian. 1812, I believe, the first school institute built in Jamaica. Not long ago, many of my fam did not enter the institute to get a what that? Collective sense. Does white quote to free because of the status of the land? Does white equate to free? Is a good question. When me I say white and black means status, we could have looked upon it in some old literature what we used to keep. I think me share them information there. Where them have it in one of them early, I think one of them third edition Black's Law Dictionary, when you look up white, one of the definition I break it down legally that way, because these are legal terms. Now, when we talk about owning property, again, listen to what we are saying now. Listen to what we are saying. Because the system has shifted from what it was. Them create naturally in order to interface. Them have to create a legal person because the system is artificial. The system now can interact with I, the living man. The system have to interact with the legal person or the juristic person or the enleges or the estate. So this is why I say right off the rip, separation of entity. I am separate and distinct from this piece of document what I keep with me all the while. I always have a birth certificate, instrument or its copy with me. You understand? For validate. Say, watch ya. Are you talking to me? Or you want my legal personality? Because you have to be God Almighty. If you tell me, say you have jurisdiction over I as man. No court, no jurisdiction over the man. Them have to really, you just say, convert you from the living man to a dead piece of paper. The moment them get you, by way of traversing or by way of acknowledging and accepting that you are that piece of paper, then that's it. It's that simple. It's no different than when the ones them send you a presentment, them supposed to send you a means of payment, which in some documentation in the form of a check attached to it. Now them have a new slick way where them on go and do it by way of internet. This is why we say the EIN, where someone say employer identification number. I say it is synonymous with the regular social security number. It's synonymous with all of these different things. It's called a tax identification number, TIN. And because everything is being done electronically by way of digital data, no more analog thing, no more write up and down. It's book data entry now. So it's really an electronic identification number in whatever form it is. This is why I said, and why you have to go through all of these things to try to learn all kind of tricks when everybody on gonna show you, you know, some kind of process with them concocted. And when we are look upon what is, we are said then, is it this, you know, simple? The moment you send me a presentment, then that's, you know, your presentment is an offer. I'm not make no counter offer if I need to. All I have to do is, you know, acknowledge, accept, and endorse and return. Because everything is about finance. Where you say it's all about money. It's all about business, commercial business. I show you where to trade can also be construed as commerce according to their construct. And only true we already have a birth registration form within this thing, and our thing a little bit different from the mainland. Our thing more expressive. Because them not expect we around here so if we can look on an instrument and figure it out. So our thing more expressive than what them have on the mainland. And then we are come directly from the British governance where them create for them 1666 Fide Commissary, which is assessed to a KV trust by way of that act. Yeah, man. So, you know, if it's a spiritual word, sound, vibration, interaction, whereas a man exchange spirit to a next man. So when I put on paper, is that a standing spirit? Well, anything where you choose to put on the paper, I would say, like if I write on piece of paper and thing, I do my basic research and thing, and that me have to stand up on. I tell the item, you know, I went into court back and forth quite a few times before I actually engage and open my court. And when I say open my court, before I actually place document within the court settings. The court are not necessarily the building, the court is actually the documentation. That's why they will call it docket number. Yeah, man. I'm going to disguise it, them say case number, you know. So the court is always the information. If you don't have the information on your side of the books, it's only the state that's coming against you. We'll have information there. So internationally, when people look and are going to do their book or their accounting, them are going to see where, oh, you already get an attorney. That means, you know, you waive all whatever presumed rights you'll have. But a man such as I, so I present myself, I did have to document it. I now can go in a court and speak and change it. You have to put it in a writing, specifically in an affidavit form. You know what I mean? And you have to endorse them document that. The people are just step by step. It's as we go along, everybody's situation different, yeah. Everybody aspiration different. We just share information according to what it is. Step by step process. Yeah, man. But I know sometimes how we view the things them, you know, we get in a problem, you know. And that's why when around for pull up and break and look around and reevaluate and push again. We not, you know, we not have them problem there. But so I know people pan a whole, them want overnight thing, them want quick thing, them want whoop. Just come hear from you just for that piece that what them want and that's it. So we just share our information, not for an individual aspect or nothing at all. It's more universal. Anyone can grab and see it and go look into it or them say, yeah, we not, you know what I mean? And the next thing, when me in a capacity like how me I try carry myself, when people not in a this capacity, you can't ask me for advice when you're in a different construct. You can't say you're a Jamaican citizen and you want to ask me what me if do about this and that when me I tell you say I am not that. This is why I move past just the Jamaica government and for them system. I go which part the FIDE commissary is, which part my birth registration form is being housed. You understand? Because the birth registration form is actually asset, because it represent land. This is why them keep the document in the ear where them put land title and deeds and other land properties. So it isn't, you know, asset. Again, you don't know. We just chant accordingly. That's why we say it is a sophisticated financial instrument. That very birth registration form where we have here on the island, the mainland thing different. Them have to think about authenticity, all kind of different things, because them not have the bond paper what we have. Most man can't find the primary or the principal or the source QSIP. Because you have a titled estate with a number attached. Usually it starts with an alphabet and then about 7-digit follow it. And then you have a, what them call TRN. You know, upon the island, them call it tax registration number. In my world, I call it treasury registration number. Account, because that's the account. You get me? Now you need an identifier for that account. That's where the QSIP come in. Now the specificity of that now is when I say, yo, see the account here, boom, see the number, yeah. So the identifier, yeah. How them I go tell you, say, you think fallacious when you attend a payment if you choose or you go purchase anything using what me are thinking in my head. Again, with just a reason, you know what I mean? I mean, I have to go put certain things on paper and then, you know, I just step out and try some things. Yeah, man, go up in one of them big car mark there and just go get a vehicle, but I'm not going to chat to them per se. I just deal with them financial institution because I am, or well, I should have access to all kind of finances. Now I say it unlimited, you know. I just know so I can't spend it all. I can't go on like some guy who said them have $3 trillion and give them how much and have only 30 million. And still I tell people for pay. Watch me now, man. I just say salute to that. But me say, the vision what we have, you know, we just have to take our time, you know, build it and make the ones them forward. And I say for ones and ones running. Because people running with them little Mickey Mouse slave problem, trying to draw way out. You understand? And when them go to the attorneys take a nice piece of 3,000, 4,000 US dollar from them. Only if you tell them so them can't help them. But when them come around to a man like I, and I say, yo, Ray, you want to talk to me all day, like, yo, listen to YouTube and we throw it out there. Don't try contact me because I'm not dead some man. That's why I remove myself from a lot of things because it don't make sense where I try share information when ones and ones not reach a certain level. It don't make no sense where I hang out when ones and ones not have no interest in participating. People just come in for, you know, pirate your concept or the information where you share and go regurgitate it somewhere else. Intellectual pirates. So we kind of remove ourselves from that and know. So YouTube is just the area, the public arena where we not monetize, we're not there out here doing a business. We just share information to bring our people to a level so them can branch off to all different kind of places and go do all kind of great things. Them things that we are dealing with. Now I have some information, I'm lock with it and keep it to myself and create a little group, but that's me and my group. No. I'm gonna have nothing to do with me. I tell them, man, you go do it, and me not do it. I now tell you, say me have $3 trillion and give it away and have 30 million credit. And then me I go tell you, say, I go to some man and ask for Federal Reserve. I can't do that. How me I go do that? Me have to show you, say, watch here, you have a estate. that's being administered because you don't know nothing about it. I have to tell you that. I have to tell you, say, all of the financial activities or transaction I forgot by way of this very legal person, this very birth registration form document. Everything is attached to it. That's where I own everything. Me have property and I'm a legal entity, own that. That's why I say when the tax come, you don't have to send it to me. You as the fiduciary. You understand? Because me have to be some kind of beneficiary around here. Because the creation of my thing was my mother, the grantor. So if there's a public trust by way of the birth certificate, then who can be the grantor? It can't exist without I. This is why I take exception when people give government so much power, so much authority, so much strength. Government, you are my servant. Government, in whatever capacity, you are my servant, public servant. And you volunteer for that job. And you take a public oath for maintain that office. Government, whether elected or appointed, government. So even when I go in front of the judge, I know, say, watch ya. When may have a standing army, you know, have all kind of artillery and, you know, armaments and all of these things. But you still are my public servant. You understand? Down to the very, I could have the Supreme Court Justice, Byron Sykes. You're my public servant, all of them, in their corporate public capacity. What them do, I flip the switch on the people them through, you know, ignorance. And have the people them, you know, I look up to them like them noble. Especially some of these attorneys. Some of these attorneys, not all of them, you know, because you have some solid constitutional lawyers out there, solid people and people. But you have the Mickey Mouse, you know, run through the university attorney, where them only know legal process. You know what I mean? Have no access to law, and they know what that is. But the constitutional lawyers out there, them ones that were, I say, watch here, the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedom is that document ascended in 2011 by the Governor General. Yeah, man. So when people are look for law, that's where the law is. That's where the binding contract is. That's the Jamaica Bill of Rights right there. The Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedom as amended. And them things don't apply where, hey, it's supposed to deal with me. No. That instrument is to keep the corporate people in check. That's why it's there. That's why them swear them public oath of office too. However, them have a private bar member guild will go back to the Templar Church where them swear them private oath to. So you have to invoke the public oath. And once you invoke the public oath, then them have to adhere to it. And them know it. And you have to know it. Especially when you put it in writing and place it in any one of them, you know, judicial setting or even them administrative setting. And them kind of reasoning here from this island. Jah make ya, cause Jah over ya. So it work. Jah make ya. Yeah, man. Cause Jah over ya. Make people tell you about how we talk and how our talk, a foreign talk. That's the problem with our people, my people. Yeah, man. We can't afford to allow a foreign man to define the words and what we choose to use. This is why when we create the documents, we make it clear. It's a definition, yeah. And this is why we are use this word. And this is a definition according to the context. Just like that. And we keep it simple. We not stop say freedom, freedom in and freedom in. We not stop share the basic information according to how it come across our area. And we more share the newer platforms with some fresh people that come without the business aspect. Yeah, man. All right, let me see what Madam say. So again, forgive me. So man, a turn is standing to another like a youth to an elder. The judge is the one upholding who speaks for that standing all through court. Yeah, the judge is a fact finder again. This is just my point of view. If me just go in a court and them ask me my name and me a yip yap, hey, and me that and la 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 la, and me never put nothing in writing, then nothing really happen in court. Them can do as them please with me. While because the court and them create a docket number, then them create a bond. That's why I'm gonna watch these things. I care not what want happen out of the financial thing. So when you go into the court and them a do for them thing, you have to make sure say you have a little bit of knowledge to put something in writing and place it within the court. If I go in there verbally and I go speak, one of the very first thing I do is invoke them out of office. So I tell them which hat for wear. And usually it's a whole different matter. It's only one resident magistrate me ever face. What I can say is a very rude woman. And that's that. Yeah. Trinidadian lady. Yeah, man. Edward. That was a very rude and cool. And probably personally, she probably is not that way. Because usually in a court is like an act. So you have to put on an act. So probably should have put on an act for the people them and things that me are one of the regular slaves. So me really have to check that lady quick and fast. And when she asks for Linton O'Neill Dallas, I just present Linton O'Neill Dallas to her. One big fat birth certificate with a piece of document attached to the front side, cancelling that right there in front of them. Subtly. Yeah, man. The moment you put your mark or your autograph or for the ones that want to dead your signature on certain documents, either you acknowledge it or you cancel it. And these things have power. And I've experienced it. Might be nothing fancy like what some of these gurus out there are talk about and I do. Because we not there, so. Me have an issue when me hear a man, boy, me I tell you, every time I think about it, me have to laugh. Oh, the mess you can sit down there. What kind of game you play? Where you can sit down and talk about how much you discharge. And talk about trillions of credit as if it's nothing at all. Yet you have a bunch of people that talk about them have to go find Federal Reserve note for pay you. For you teach them how to do what? For go get other Federal Reserve note. So teach them how to access them hereditament. What kind of secret is there? Well, true, we don't know, and we blind, we just feel our way. we shouldn't get into too much trouble. Babylon are going to look and say, no worry about them, set them on. Them can't figure it out. However, we still have to make our effort, because we have too much people who are caught up out there, including us. All of we have a birth certificate, but we don't know what it is, and we don't know what to do with it. Yet, the top gurus, them totally ignore that. And I sell prosperity package, where them lock you in to one area where you're there for about 7 or 8 or 9 years. I do a lot of commercial mess. Illusion, man. However, we salute the gurus out there. Yeah, man. True indeed. And the pirates, I think people within self must believe they can make an impact by doing anything less than what they are already doing. I agree. Matter of fact, is a thought we manifest to moment for share. For make someone's know, say, listen, ones and ones can do anything, listen, literally, anything we ones choose to do. And ones just have to make the effort. And failure shouldn't bring devastation, can bring disappointment, but the failure should be, that stepping stone or that learning area where you regroup, repackage or rebrand and push out again. So there is no excuse. We truly can attempt to do anything we want to do. And when it's positive, it takes on a life of its own. Once it's positive, it will take on a positive life of its own. Because it's supposed to start grow. But if it's a negative thing, naturally, a deterioration that, now I go grow it, I go dead. Just like most people, ideas out there. Welcome to the British brethren there, Mark Christopher, with theme Quantum Grammar. I hear myself Bitcoin now. Bitcoins all over the place. The people them we have the information where the common folks need, them keep that to themselves and create them own, say, mimic elite group. But them say them are university grads and them are all of these things. And keep some information to themselves. So when all a grassroots man such as I and our people take on to some of them information, not on a local level, not on that Mickey Mouse corrupted level, more on an international level where the international laws and rules apply. So we have people from outside internationally can wield any kind of big stick for the Mickey Mouse local ones, them where the whole world know pollute and corrupt because of the big time people, them that the whole world pollute and corrupt them. That's how it really going on. Yeah, man. Same way so it go. But for us, we have to say, watch your people have what them call free will, they can choose. You can choose to be free or you can choose not to be. You can choose to learn or you can choose to, ignore. And within your ignorance of all of these things, then, can't complain about the situation. That's why I'm kind of ignore the local scene per se. And the narrative and the activities of the local people. Because I think it's limited. You get me? Because the happenings where going locally was orchestrated by hidden hands, they call the foreign powers, for destabilize your area. And when them destabilize the area and brand your area as a crime-infested zone, them place either call quiet or subtle embargo on your location and put out information, say don't travel to your location and don't do all of these things. So then foreign investors can just scrape up all our minerals or wealth. Everybody don't want to discuss them things there. Everybody want to scratch the little effect, but no man no want go toe to toe with the cause. No man no want look in at bees face and say back where bees. A fire may have a throw your way. Straight fire. And the fire, the words were manifest from I. Yeah, whether a savage language where most of you can't deal with, or whether it's eloquent, inarticulate, but it's fire. Yeah, man, it's fire, yeah. Yeah, we're up on the island surrounded by water. So we're good to go. Yeah, man, whole heap of fruit trees provided by Mother Nature. We can't but flourish around here. But because of the foreign, invader, they have to spoil this location, man. They have to miseducate this kind of people, because we are not one normal kind of people. We are not one easy kind of people. You see, the moment I, as an Antillean Ahuuak Indian in this America, can unite with all Rasta, which naturally I submit and go through my show information who might offend ones and ones. And if I can unite with the ones them where I say, yo, a freedom, it don't even make a difference if we are Muslim or we are Christian or we are Rasta. We just say freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from the foreign corporate construct. People. It is a machinery. It is a system that employ man and woman. Yet them have to put things in place for people like I, who choose to move righteously. We choose to move, in truth, not alongside the truth. Them have to make provision, make a way for one such as I, for us. But you have to choose life over death. You have to make the separation so you're not the dead paper. Because instrument, document, paper is the same thing. Note is the same thing. This is why them create this fiction, this fictitious trust system coming from the British Khazars. Yeah, the Khazar elite. That's at the root. And then you have the Ishmaelites. Yeah, man. Them other kind of dark-skinned people. Where them always a fight against the Israelite. And we were up on the island with us there, because most of where them are going without them have nothing to do with we around here. Our beginning not starting in a landlocked country. We don't have no landlocked area, boy. On the mainland, I go across so much bridges over that. And this is what the people them do. Block up our waterways. But Mother Nature is, superior. So all we have to do is just give thanks and praise to the mystic law of the universe and just take it step by step. Each one teach one. We not have to impose our, beliefs. We not have to do none of those things. We just share some information. The ones that can get it. Ones that when I want it can ignore it, because your ignorance is your free will choice. But there's no excuse. Pay attention to the primary, the principal instrument. Yeah, man. Because everything derived from that. Every single thing is secondary to that. Take control, man. In however way you can. Now, I forgot join a big group with some, Superman. Complete gratitude, people. If we, the people, if we know how we have we own things, I think there will be victory in the spirit. I think that the chance is a bridge to know if we will see for ourselves. I probably want to reason with something. I probably need to open up a thing here where people can just chit chat. Yeah, man, probably have something like that. Where we can get clarity, Because the ones I'm have to know, say, like, I man is anti or against the ones and ones I bring forward. I man is always, I say, honorable clarification, because we in a bright round here. We just have our light to shine. Might not shine bright like phone one, but, we still have our light. We keep our fire. So bring information where we can get honorable clarification and we move forward. Not this entrapment or enslavement. Enough for the pacification. We don't need it. We don't need that. Anyway, out there.